The Sports Scouting Report with Lee Burkeen, brought to you by Harvey Autos in Shreveport, Bossier City, the name you've trusted for years. Geico, the insurance savings you expect. Supreme Chevrolet, expect more from Supreme Automotive Group and Gonzalez. Total Car Care, tire shop and automotive repair in Baton Rouge. Bollinger Shipyards, 75 years of delivering high-quality vessels. Here's your host, Lee Burkeen.
Hi everyone, Lee Burkeen, host of the Sports Scouting Report podcast. We're at Destrehan High School. Thank you, Coach Scott, that we can use your facilities and all the schools can come over here and I can make it a half drive instead of going to Baton Rouge, where we film every week. I want to mention our magazine is out and it's not printed anymore, but you can go on the website, lafootballmagazine.com, and read it for free. And we're featuring Jesuit. Will be featured in a couple of weeks for football. Today's show is about Jesuit. It's not about football. It's about wrestling. Something you don't hear a lot. We've got one of the best in the state joining us who's a senior, and he's one of the best heavyweights in the state of Louisiana. We have his coach that's going to come on later. And when we come back, we're going to introduce the kid from Jesuit High School.
Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it into Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you.
Welcome back, Lee Burkeen. We've got a great show today. First is one of the best heavyweight wrestlers in Louisiana. Not football. He was a football player for Jesuit. He's a senior, and I'm going to introduce his name. I don't want to mess his name up for Mom, but Spencer Lanosga.
Yes, sir.
I got it. All right. Mom, thank you. I didn't screw it up. Your coach is going to be joining us after, but I want to promote the sport of wrestling.
Please do.
You're a heavyweight.
Yes, sir.
But you were a freshman starter in football.
Yes, sir.
As a D lineman?
D lineman, yes, sir.
And then you played a little O-line too later on.
Sophomore year, junior year, I was playing some O-line.
You made that big decision, which I don't blame you. You have a scholarship committed to Navy.
Sir.
And I did not know, I'm sorry, I did not know they had, I didn't know they had a wrestling team at Navy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you're committed to them, you know that's what you want to do.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
So you're focusing on just doing that sport, right?
Yes, sir.
What is it like? How hard was that, though, to make that decision?
For me personally, I knew wrestling was what I wanted to do, so it wasn't that crazy of a decision.
Yeah.
Like obviously, I've been playing football with some of those guys like my whole life, so it was that's kind of what was kind of drawing me back to the sport a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's just wrestling is what I love to do. So
let me brag on Jesuit. I'm an idiot to. I'm a football guy and I like baseball and I like the sport. But Coach just told me before the show, I asked him, how many state championships have Jesuit won in wrestling? And I thought he said 2, but he said 24.
24.
And I thought I was hearing something wrong. I thought I was getting deaf already, but 24?
Oh, yeah.
Is that crazy?
Tradition of greatness at Jesuit.
I wonder who's won more in the country. I mean, 24 is a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
So how many have they won since you've been on the team?
So we won our first one last year since I've been, because our state championship before that was in 2009, so we had a little break in between.
Okay.
But we're back now, better than ever.
So I have friends of mine whose kids did the sport in high school, and I've been to some meets, still trying to figure it out. Yeah. I admire the hard work.
Oh yeah.
Because I've been to some practices, and I'm like, man, you're not walking in this practice.
Oh, no.
I mean, you guys are like on a mat,
yeah.
And how long is practice? How long is this?
Hour and a half, 2 hours.
And nonstop.
Oh yeah. Constant motion.
And you're a 290-pound guy,
Yes,
6'3", and your endurance. I mean, how do you?
Oh yeah, well that's a thing I got to work on, especially for wrestling. I'll make sure I get my distance running in, and at the end of practice, I'll hop on the bike for about 15 minutes, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off.
What's the hardest part about the sport? I mean,
the hardest part I'd say is just it's really a mental game. So like I'd say you got to master your mentality if you want to be a really good wrestler. So
what do you like most about it?
Really, for me, I'm enjoying wrestling a lot more now. Is because just being around my teammates.
Focus.
Yeah.
How hard it is to learn to become a wrestler? Like, how hard is it to learn?
I mean, if you love it like I do, you pick up on it pretty fast. I'd say so.
So the sport.
It takes a while. You can pick up moves pretty fast, but it takes a while to really get good at those moves and master.
How hard is it to get out of a pin?
If somebody has you down like really good, you're not moving.
It's over.
Yeah.
What was your record last year?
Last year I went. I didn't get a lot of matches in. I went 11-0 is what I think.
Oh, just 11.
Yeah.
Just 11.
No.
So anybody come close to get you like 10-1, or was it, you had a close one?
No.
Boom.
Yeah, no, nobody really.
How long
not
is
in
it?
the state.
Do you have in your mind like how long? I want to get this pin and get it over with. Like, there's a clock, right?
No, I mean, not really. I just kind of just go out there and figure it out.
You ever had anybody sweating, looking at you like they have to face you?
Yes, yeah. A few times. Once or twice.
I've seen movies, you see some of these comedies. I don't know if it was, I'm trying to think of the actor, but he was like 140 pounds. And I know it was Hollywood. They put him against somebody like 240 pounds. He's like, I'm not going out there, coach. And he pushed him out. And then the little guy ends up winning, And, but have you ever lost one where you're like, man, I shouldn't have lost that match?
Yeah, state finals my freshman year. That was that, and then I was in the national finals, and I dropped both those matches, and that was both of my freshman year, so that was kind of like, dang.
So you have something to work for this year. Mm-hmm. What's your goal as a senior in wrestling? What's your goal?
We're gonna repeat. We're gonna get the team title again.
Are you the biggest guy on the team?
Yeah, heavyweight's the highest it goes.
Okay. You don't have like another heavyweight guy too?
Oh yeah, we do. He's we do. He's gonna be pretty good next year.
So you teaching him pretty good?
Oh yeah, I'm getting him right.
Can he pin you and win, or you still got him? You got him right now?
Nope.
He's got a little bit to learn, right?
Yeah, he's got. Yeah.
Speaking of college, academics, I know Jesuit's a great school academically, prepared for college.
Oh yeah.
You're already halfway through college coming out of Jesuit, but what do you want to major in in Navy?
So I'm kind of torn right now. I'm deciding between macroeconomics and then political science.
Okay.
Because those departments at the Naval Academy are probably the best in the country.
Yeah.
You got guys majoring in political science going on to be senators and representatives and stuff like that.
I've got to ask you this, because when I think of Navy SEALs.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider that? I know you got to lose some weight to do that, right?
I mean,
but there's a lot of kids that are like, hey, I want to be a Navy SEAL.
No, I mean, for a second I was like, yeah, that'd be really cool, but then I really thought about it, and I was like, no, it's not, not for me.
I get in the water with the sharks. Shark Week is
yeah.
popular this month. I'm not doing that. So, what's it been like going to Jesuit?
It's been, a great experience. Getting to meet everybody. I had a lot of friends coming into Jesuit because I went to Christian Brothers. So, but it's really just been a great experience. Like the environment they have around there now, it's just, we're winning in everything, and it's nice to be a winner.
I'm one of those old guys, but I'll go back to Rusty Staub from the 60s that played baseball. He played like 30 years in the majors. Will Clark, obviously. We had Will Clark on our show recently.
Really? Yeah.
And
Jesuit legend.
Foster Morrow, the current Saints tight end. I saw him play basketball at Jesuit. He was a heck of a basketball player. And then there's been many of them, but is there one that sticks out to you and you go, oh, that's the one I look up to the most? Is there a Jesuit grad?
I'd say, I mean, we've had heavyweight wrestlers who have been animals in these past 10 years.
Wow.
Like, we got dudes like Perry Gansey. He was really good.
He's a good football player.
Oh, great football. He's at Nichols right now. And then Corey Dublin, he played football at Tulane.
Yeah.
He was really good heavyweight as well.
Yeah, I talked to Corey when he was a senior O-lineman, Tulane, and then Percy, that guy played the game like he was a wrestler. I mean, I think he was like trying to pin people when he tackled them. I watched him sideline to sideline, but was he a heavyweight at 240?
Yeah, he was. Yep.
Wow. So, what do you think of Coach? He's going to be joining us pretty soon.
I mean, this is the best coach in the state.
In the state?
Oh yeah.
What makes him so different?
Just the way he handles everybody on the team, the way he runs practice, the way he's good, really good with everybody, not just the older guys, like the whole team. He's really good with.
It's tough on y'all?
Oh yeah.
Trying to cut down maybe practice now or no? Cut down practice time a little bit?
Oh no, I enjoy practice.
I know it's hard because I went to one practice in my life, and I was sweating wanting Gatorade in the stands. I mean, I just watching these guys your energy. I tried doing it with someone who actually was a professional, I'm like, I need oxygen. After 2 minutes, I'm seriously, I need like an oxygen bottle. You got to have endurance to do this.
Oh yeah, yeah.
People don't realize it. I mean, it's crazy. It's like, if I could go back in high school, I probably would have tried it. But then again, if I see a guy like this, I'd probably quit. Really quit. Good luck to you with Navy.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Go Navy. And how am I going to watch it on TV with wrestling? How do I watch it?
They got it. They stream it on, like, for the national tournament. They'll stream it on ESPN.
Okay.
Or, like the conference tournaments.
I'm going to have to keep up with you.
Oh yeah.
And say that guy was on our show from Jesuit. He just pinned that 300-pound Army guy on the ground, or Air Force or whoever it is.
sir.
Good luck to you, Spencer.
Yes, sir. Thank
We'll
you.
be back with the head coach, wrestling coach at Jesuit High School in a few seconds.
Supreme Chevrolet. Expect more from Supreme Automotive Group in Gonzales. Total Car Care. Tire Shop and Automotive Repair in Baton Rouge.
Welcome back. Lee Burkeen, your host of Sports Scouting Report Podcast. We're at Destrehan High School interviewing Jesuit. We're talking a different sport. Look, I want to do all sports. I love all sports. And I really have a lot of admiration and respect the sport of wrestling. Even though I don't know a lot, I'm just admitting it, right? But I watch it and I appreciate it. And I'm glad we had Spencer on earlier, one of the best in the state. Senior, was a football player, was a 4-year starter for Jesuit. Would have been up this coming year. And his head coach is joining us, John. Last name?
Aurelion.
Orillion. Yeah, I didn't want to screw it up, but
No problem.
you went to Jesuit
I did. I was a 2001 grad.
and went off to Iowa for a few years.
Just stuck around through college down here and all, but I just got back. This is going into my 4th season back with the wrestling team. But yeah, I was in Iowa for 3 years before that, doing some coaching up there, and then rest of the coaching all in the New Orleans area before that.
And you told me that Jesuit won state championships from 88 to 98.
88 to 98, yep, under Sam Harson-Cram, legendary coach.
I don't know one sport that's done that many, unless maybe Edna Carr in football. Maybe I'll ask Grant later. Maybe Edna Carr in football maybe did that many, but that's 11 in a row?
It was a good run.
That's a lot. So what is it so special about, I mean, Jesuit's got all this tradition, all these great coaches. Y'all won 24 state championships.
24.
And then Brother Martin's won a few, and Catholic High's won a few. Rummel's won one, I believe.
Holy Cross actually has the
They
most
won-
right now.
they have the most? How
They're
many?
at, I believe it's 28, I think
28?
it is. Yeah, they had a lot in the kind of early history of wrestling in Louisiana. They own the early history of
Okay.
it. Yep.
How do you learn, if you're a mom watching today and you have like a 10-year-old son, how do you get your kid involved in the sport?
It's the youth wrestling in our state has grown tremendously over the past, I'd say 2 decades really.
Okay.
Since those early 2000s, it was around in the 90s and all, but I tell people all the time, like especially if you have a brother, I would do open house, things like that, and guys come in and I'm like, do you have a brother? And they're like, yeah. I said, then you've wrestled before, right? Anybody growing up with siblings
Right.
has somehow participated in the sport of wrestling, whether knowingly or unknowingly.
Right.
But with the club scene nowadays in the youth wrestling, I mean, there's probably 2,500 kids on the youth state tournament in Louisiana now. We're trying to get LHSA to sanction women's wrestling, but women's wrestling is one of the fastest growing sports in the country right now.
I didn't know that.
Yep. We're at Destrehan. One of the females I used to coach, Abby Nettie, she wrestled for Destrehan. Unfortunately, had to compete against the boys. Went off to college.
Competed against the boys?
Competed against the boys in high school. Never got on the podium. Just never placed in state or anything. It was a struggle. Ended up going to college. She was a 2-time national champ. She won the Trisha Sanders Award, which is basically the Heisman for women's wrestling.
Okay.
So, and she didn't make the world team this year, but she made the U.S. world team in women's freestyle last year. So it's a little push for Destrehan High School there. But yeah, there's a lot of
They'll like
opportunities
that.
if you look for them.
Coach John, what's the hardest part to learn of the sport? What is the hardest thing to learn?
Toughest part in our sport is really I kind of say it to the guys all the time. It's a feel sport, right? We can teach you the move, but you may wrestle 12 different people, and those 12 different people react in different ways to the move you're trying to do, right? So it's really teaching your body. It's throwing a baseball, throwing a football. Once you do it so many times, you naturally
repetition.
just can do it, right? So
Right.
it's teaching that muscle memory, and that's really one of the hardest things in the sport. Is it's easy to teach the sport of wrestling, but unless you've got somebody willing to put the time in and ultimately learn that muscle memory, that can be difficult.
How long is a match?
So we go on the high school level, we're 6 minutes. It's 3 2-minute periods, different start in each period. When you if it goes into overtime, it's a minute overtime, and then if it goes past that minute with no score, there's 30-second ride out. So it can
There's
get
no tie. There's no tie.
No ties in wrestling. No ties.
Okay.
There are ties in dual meets. If it's team versus team, they're ties, and then criteria will solve it. How many pins? How many majors?
In football, you get a flag, right? What do you get in wrestling if you do something wrong?
Unsportsmanlike conduct. you club a guy too hard, something like that, they're going to throw an unsportsmanlike and give the other guy a point.
So it continues, kind of like hockey. Right?
Correct.
Right.
Unless it's a legal move and the guy can't continue. Team-wise, you can lose team points too, which is, I've always kind of argued, there's no other sport where you do something that may be unsportsmanlike and then they take away a point. Can you imagine a football game with them saying, hey, we're going to take away a point from this team, from them acting like that?
That's crazy.
So I'm still a little on the fence about.
I bet. Don't take my point. Like, I'm kicking a field goal and we made it,
I didn't like what he did, though, so let's only give him 2 points.
Give me
for
my
that
3
one.
points back. Who is the greatest wrestler you've ever seen? Is there one?
I'm a student of the sport. I watch senior level. I watch the Russians and Iranians. If I had to pick in Louisiana, we've had a lot of greats. I'll stick to Jesuits since I am a Jesuit coach. But
fair enough.
Guys like Mike Hanneman, he was a 3-timer for us, and he was before my time. But everything I've heard about him is just unbelievable. His son actually is going to Catholic next year. He's living up in Baton Rouge now. One of my good friends, Marshall DeLessonier, was a 3-time state champ. Football player also. I played for UL in college, was a D lineman for UL, but he was, just that guy could step on a wrestling mat and everybody kind of knew. Very similar to Spencer. You interviewed him earlier. Spencer walking into this year, we're nothing's ever guaranteed, but we have a lot of confidence.
Right.
When guys like Mike and Marshall and Spencer step on a wrestling mat,
I got to mention this because the first wrestling match I ever saw, I didn't know whether to laugh or take it serious, but sumo wrestling. I mean,
it's an interesting sport.
And they got Americans doing it over there. I'm like, is that different?
Rules, it's different.
It's like it's got this big...
Yeah, it's not. So the way folk style, what you watch on high school, what you watch in NCAAs, it's a lot about control, right? Take a guy down, and I'm going to show the referee that I can control this guy and keep him on the ground. Sumo is more about get out of my circle. It's if you can make the guy fall or push him out of a circle, you're going to score points. But I tell you see some of those guys, big as they look.
They're huge.
Some athletic guys in there.
Like 400 pounds. Some of these guys.
From my understanding in Japan, if you're you're one of the world champion sumo wrestlers. You're treated like one of our NFL players, and you're pretty famous and important in that country.
I guess when you retire from the world's strongest man, you go into sumo wrestling, right?
Moving to there.
We don't pick cars up anymore. But, how many years have you been coaching?
So I started in college. So I started 2001, 02. I was going to college my first year, and I started coaching, and been kind of doing it ever since. So it's 2023 now. So it's been a while in it.
I am honored to get you guys on, you and Spencer. Appreciate we could promote Jesuit and the sport.
Absolutely. Appreciate.
I want people to know. I mean, I learned more today than I've learned in my 53 years of the sport.
I'll say wrestling's always an option.
And I know it's not easy, but it's also it's the hardest, most conditioned sport, right?
It is grueling. It is a lot of training. It is grueling. I appreciate it, though.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for watching the Sports Scouting Report with Lieber King.